Welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous, sponsored by Roll20, The Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you very much to all our patrons who support us monetarily, hang out with us, and give us money. Which, I mean, like, it's a special thing. I'm gonna count it out, But like all of you who are also subscribed, following, watching, commenting, thank you very much for your support as well. But yes, a special shout out to some really weird names. 8 more years of heisting. Adele, Al, Alan Michael, Alexander, Angfalith, Bernie, Blood Angel, Brandon, Chris, Daniel, Doc, The Undead, Delore, Eat My Whole Ass, Emil,
yes,
wow. Funzo Suruali, George, Hyperarch with a Headache, Jack, Jenny, John, Josh, Julian, Cat Feathers, Crazy Man 1772, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Ms. Grumpy, Moku, Noba, Other Michael, Parker, Perry, Puppeteer, Riafia, Ryan, Shaksara, Sinna, Terran, The Arcane, Thomas, Toast, Usuf Sama, Vortex, Woodsound, and Zoltan. Thank you all very much for your support, and all of you Twitch folks, thank you for hanging out and coming by and watching Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which is still, YouTube folks, available as a VOD on Twitch for free. You don't have to be a subscriber or anything like that, and I'm gonna see how easily we can just move it over to YouTube. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it will stay forever. I have not watched it yet. I barely managed to watch the last half hour of our last episode. I was like, where did we leave off? Because I have notes of what happens next, but I can't remember where we left off. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, that's a segue. We left off with everybody hanging out at the tavern in Purgatory Bluff. Which tavern? It's the only tavern. It's a tiny little town in Colorado in 1846. Mm-hmm. If you're just out catching us live and trying to figure out where and when we are, yes. Put that page down. Good lord, I'm looking at chat. I shouldn't do that.
Never look at chat.
Never look at chat. But
I always look at chat.
We have Theodosia serving food. Legba and Gisela doing a bit of a double date with... No, hang on. No, yeah, thank you. Isabel and Gisela are doing the kind of double date with Rilla Remington and Jules Lamb, where we have just had the revelation that Gisela can see somebody's future and change it, or at least... It looks like it. At least the small thing, and you talk about like what their dinner is going to be. And I believe Legba is... Were you already there, or were you planning to meet up with them at the observatory, for lack of a better term?
That's what we decided. Okay. Legba was just going to show up. Or rather, Cloak was going to show up, but Legba might also make an appearance. Very true. Happens.
Also, if you are just joining us, that's not DID or anything like that. That is just a person who has many faces. When I almost would say masks, but not quite.
A person who wears many hats.
Here you go. So unless there's any sudden oh wait, hang on. I believe we pick up with dinner being completed, the beef stew kept away from Jules, and the 4 of you, nope, actually 5 of you, because we have Theo, making the trek up towards the observatory, Arcelia and Edna, helping with Madame Robert and doing the cleanup, and the 2 of you kind of just making a run for it. Well, actually, specifically Theo, kind of getting a far more good-natured this time, especially considering Madame Robert kind of noticed, oh, okay, you're taking this a bit seriously, and kind of nudging you guys out to go and see, the stars. For Madame Robert, she's like, I mean, they're up there, they're stars, you can see them bigger in a telescope. But then again, she seemed more interested in Mr. Bethune than a telescope. There's some innuendo there, but we're going to move on.
As above, so below.
Ooh, yeah. She wants to see the stars. She just doesn't want to look at the sky.
Jesus. Just, yeah.
rolling riddle.
I mean, she's already been there. It's fine.
Yep. So it is a bit of a short trek. We've determined, about a half-hour walk up to the mines, and then a little bit more to get up onto the ridge line that overlooks basically the entire town. Of course, this being 1846, there's not really any light pollution, though there are a couple lights out there. The taverns, a couple of the homes are still lit. But as the sun is fully setting, so is basically the whole sleepy town of Purgatory Bluff. Up top, there is basically nobody here. Mr. Bethune is here, looking a little bit expectantly at Jules and Rilla, because once sun sets, this is work time for them now. The whole pomp and circumstance of having Mr. Enright here and all these other visitors and stuff like that, it's already kind of passed by. At this point now, it's like, okay, we've all looked through, we've seen the Rings of Saturn. That's, okay, cool, we've seen it. There's nothing more to be gathered here unless, some new cool thing to be seen. Of course, that is why we're here, because Gisela pulled a card, random king of clubs, I think it was, and said, oh yeah, no, we'll see this thing tonight. And you guys arrive. Rilla and Jules kind of make their way over to the gear and equipment. Rilla gets out some writing equipment. Jules starts messing with dials and having a conversation with Mortimer, and probably round about that same time, Cloak joins the group, and Mortimer kind of looks up from where he's supervising and looks at Cloak and kind of looks at the other three and doesn't ask any questions.
Well, Cloak's going to answer an unasked question by approaching Mr. Bethune, and he says, "Good evening, Monsieur Bethune. How's your arm?"
It is well enough, and he is still in a bit of a sling. But yeah, I'm healing, thanks to you.
I'm delighted to hear that. I heard an interesting thing recently. I was told that you might be, and Cloak flashes his eyes and says, amenable to witchcraft.
Oh, he said the episode title. I'm curious, how does one flash one's eyes? Widening them. Thank you. It was like, how are we doing this? We getting the anime sunglasses out. Cool.
Yes.
Yes.
I can do that if you like.
I'm sure you're amenable, somewhere on the desk.
And he kind of looks and says, I wouldn't say that necessarily myself, but that's a roundabout way to get there. I believe there's some usefulness in old superstitions and misguided beliefs, yes.
Some beliefs, however, apparently misguided, have power.
Correct.
Voodoo is often called witchcraft to the uninitiated.
I have heard that. And I think he has pretty much a fairly bland expression in this, but he's not about to chase you out. If nothing else, he kind of owes you his life. But also, it sounds like you're going to cause a fuss, and hey, maybe there is something, but he's got a nervous energy. He's like, yep, I'm going to talk with this guy real quick, and then I need to get back to this because every night is a chance to see this thing. And kind of looking over Gisela, this is supposed to be the night. He's still very iffy about that, but okay.
So you haven't seen it yet?
Yeah. No, it's still a bit light for that, but the stars are starting to come out, and once we have the great picture of, the whole starry night, I was going to say galaxy, but I don't even know if that's really a concept yet.
The entire firmament.
Ooh, thank you. Then we can start to track it. He says it and then kind of looks over at Isabel and kind of like, okay, yeah, well, maybe there is something. Okay, fine. And Jules continues to, kind of lean down and is very methodically, and he's marking down, like, as he makes adjustments, which, for lack of a better term, and mostly because I don't have a ton of experience with telescopes, he's basically moving through the night sky in a bit of a grid pattern.
Yeah. Can I just do a quick, fate luck spell, basically, to help him find it quicker?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ye old, you can try. And with Fate 3, you can make sure he finds it in an hour.
One success. This is basically me just walking over and just sort of laying a hand on his shoulder while he's doing this.
Yeah. Actually, with Fate, yeah, I'm okay with that. We can easily chop that up to basically just exceptional luck. And yeah, he kind of looks back and there's a look of is there more to this? Oh, maybe it's just a pat for good luck. But kind of returns back to his work, and is just very methodical about it. Rilla comes over and is just kind of sitting alongside and kind of takes over the writing side of things as they just kind of converse back and forth, okay, moving this way, tracking up, back and forth. And Mortimer comes over to basically the four of you as you're kind of observing, and looks back to Gisela and says, so did your research into that potion come up with anything further?
No.
Kind of looks over to Cloak and says, I don't know, does voodoo make much in the way of magic potions? And, hands you basically a list of ingredients. And a few, actually, let's be honest. It's basically a full recipe. These are the ingredients, these are the steps, and very witch's brew kind of thing. And says, do you recognize this as being potentially potent in any way?
I have knowledge of concoctions and preparations. Let me examine these.
Sure.
So, can I take a peek over?
Yeah,
Cloak's shoulders. He's.
Yep. Yeah, because for Theo, this is the first time you've had this opportunity either. So yeah, intellect plus occult.
Awesome. You know what's gonna happen. Cloak is gonna use his rote skill ability.
Oh, I can't click on occult.
Your rote skill ability?
No, he is occult as a part of a professional skill.
Oh, yes.
Or professional training, so. Is that selected?
One thing with the new character sheet,
Thief
they fixed
and
it.
sorcery.
But when you click skills, they don't get highlighted anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they also give you something weird like thief and sorcery. I don't have thief and sorcery.
I don't have that.
So if you have that showing up, go ahead and do a test roll, but you may have to go into settings, go over to, in this case, vampire.
Oh, you have it set to the wrong, or it set you to the wrong character sheet?
Must be. Let's go to settings.
Nope, that didn't change it either. Interesting.
I got it on mage.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was curious if we had to go over to mage to turn it off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting. Nope, doesn't look like it. Let's see what happens.
It's just calling occult thief and sorcery. That's peculiar.
Yep. Roll it and see if it even shows up. It may just be a text error, especially since we should have 0 dots in thief and sorcery.
Yeah, totally. So let's see something. There's my specialization. Should be 7. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't roll it right.
Well, it rolled it. Wait, intelligence. Oh, it didn't select occult?
No.
It rolled thief and sorcery instead of occult.
Yeah. I'm going to roll again.
Oh, I see. It's actually okay. It's not highlighting, but it is showing up in the roll window.
Yeah, so
it
cool.
shows it in the
challenge
box.
The goal now.
I think maybe try doing the attribute first.
There you go.
I did.
Yep, 2, 4, and then or whatever.
That's a good suggestion. It's just that's exactly what I tried.
Yep. But A-okay.
I don't know what happened.
From Jean-Paul. Yeah, and because it puts a 0 there, it's not going to affect our die roll any. And then Theo, peculiar. Were you also rolling?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you used the 7 dice there. Yep, I totally missed that. Cool, thank you. So both of you are looking over this, and the list of ingredients and the process match a lot of the symbologies and usual ingredients you would use for something like a vision potion, something to enhance the mind or sight. Now, of course, the particular quantities and the process of mixing said potion, you're unfamiliar with. It's not one that you necessarily recognize. But ingredients-wise and process, it's like, this should make something. If a actual practiced or for your purposes, if an actual practiced alchemist were to make one.
Cloak says to Mortimer, "This seemed designed to increase your ability to see or understand. Is that something you desire tonight?"
That is the desire every night, but yes, that is what was promised to me, but I have, I'll admit, and kind of taps on some of the different ingredients. Like there's a bit of belladonna, and it's some of these things that I don't know that I would want to ingest without, actually having some understanding of what I'm getting into. And as this was given to me by somebody who is not a practitioner of your art, then I've been wary of it.
I think wariness is good. If you are less wary about my own abilities, I might be able to enhance your ability to see or understand without aid of poisons or strange concoctions.
I would perhaps be amenable to that.
Excellent. So
this guy's already teetering. You're about to throw him off a fucking cliff.
What Cloak wants to do is give Mortimer, for the evening, a mild increased ability to perceive space, for the purpose of recognizing perhaps a void in space. Not in the sense that it's going to be truly magical for him, but just space-related objects stand out more. They seem more perceivable. So, a good example for this would be if someone is on the top of a mesa and they're looking at a long distance, and the distance is too vast to really comprehend. I'd like something mild so that it seems more appreciable. Not that they can precisely understand exactly how long there is between different peaks on a range, but that it doesn't seem sublime, right? It doesn't seem above their understanding. If they thought about it for a long time, it would seem more approachable.
I'm on board with where you're going with this, except for the sheer fact that you are telling him that you are going to perform magic.
I didn't say magic.
In context, and this is why I'm bringing it up. In context, you are basically hinting and suggesting, I have abilities, I can do things, I can help you see. And, it is because I know there is the cult side and the meditation side of hey, these are just natural, remedies kind of thing. It's not actually magic. At this point, in context, and of course, in character, your characters have no reason not to believe you can't cast magic on other people. So I'm giving you that heads up that is kind of where his head's at. And if you were to actually change anything from his normal perspective, he's going to see this as, this is magic.
All right. Well, let's avoid that then.
Okay. Wimp.
Well, that's not what Cloak wants to do.
No,
right? Cloak's goal isn't to... Cloak would want to bring him into a meditative trance so that he'd feel that, and then Cloak would try and infuse a little bit in the context of that meditation so that he'd be more open to things. But if he thinks it's magical, that's not what he wants. So...
any comments, by the way, Theo from the potion?
No.
I'm just kind of looking over.
I was going to get in a bit of a discussion with him, but I think the moment's gone.
Good. And as you guys are, kind of having that little back and forth, Jules and Rilla are moving through the process, and kind of looks up, and Rilla kind of chimes into the conversation and says, if they think it's fine, I could whip us up a potion. Mortimer kind of shrugs and kind of looks at the two of you and says, it's not toxic, is it? I mean, and he does recognize there are a couple things that, like, if you had a huge bunch of it,
just let me take a sniff at it before anybody drinks it.
And like Rilla smiles and says, fabulous. Who better to tell whether or not this is has gone sour than the bartender? And gives you a big smile. But she comes, she works over, and they have a little pit. I cannot remember my notes. There is a particular type of fire pit. I cannot remember what it is called, but it's basically you take two holes and you have a little air flow through it. Cannot remember what it's called, but it basically cuts out on the light shining everywhere because the pit itself is down below. Regardless, that is there set up mostly to help keep the chill of the evening off. And so she gets over to that and starts working that up, and starts to build a potion.
Jules is manipulating the telescope, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then if there's going to be a little bit of time, Cloak wants to ask Mortimer something.
Sure.
Okay. Cloak says, Mr. Bethune, I've been told that you have a book of runes. That seems unintelligible.
Yeah, his gaze just goes from you over to, Gisela and Isabel, nods and says, I do have something like that in my possession, yes.
I would like to read it.
I would too.
Got him.
I can share with you its insights if I'm able to decipher it.
I believe that you think you will, but my concern is that you may read something that is of particular interest, and you may perhaps try to keep me out of it. This is not a personal thing. This is the same reason that I only showed them a middle page. If you're able to translate it for me and show me how you have translated it, then perhaps we may have a deal.
Not immediately opposed to that idea, although before I agree to something more than just what I consider to be a simple request to take a look at something you have. I'll remind you that if I didn't want to do good by you, I probably would not have pulled you out from a deadly fate in that mine.
Damn, bro.
He smiles and he's like, don't misunderstand me. I understand that you saved my life. I do know, however, you had no idea if I was alive in there or not.
Who says that?
You have some way of knowing that I was alive inside of that mine?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're making assumptions. And with the information you have. Yes, exactly. She's great. Awesome.
He didn't, but I did.
And I exhausted myself to make sure that you stayed that way.
Figure out between the two of you who's going to roll, but it's presence plus persuasion. Because at this point, you're telling a very believable story, but he has no way of knowing that this is true.
Sounds good.
I was aiming more for, like, with tonally and everything, for, like, manipulation. Of, like, believe me if you want, or don't. Like,
I'm okay with
no skin off my ass about it.
And if you're going to take the primary, Jean-Paul can assist as well. And you don't have to use the same die pool.
Cool.
Yeah, I just want to know who's going to act in the primary and who's going to assist.
I'll take the lead.
Okay, sounds good. Me roll presence persuasion.
Especially since I think from Isabel's perspective, Cloak is on the verge of blowing it, maybe.
I have already just like basically facepalmed when you just walked up and were like, "How you have a thing? Let me see." Like,
Hi, this is Cloak.
It was going to happen a little differently if he didn't. You asked him to be nice. He didn't ask him to be subtle. You just asked him to be nice.
General, there, Ralph.
All right, cool. There's the assistance roll.
Ooh. Okay, well, there's a +1. Man, what do we get? 7, 1, 7, 8, 5, yeah. Oh!
Nope.
Damn.
So, yeah, he looks at you two, and, like, there's not a open hostile, he doesn't believe you. Mm-hmm. He's just unsure, and especially as, at this point, we've definitely established the fact that the four of you are claiming to have magical powers. Gisela
have not shown.
Huh?
Have not shown in any way.
You know, there's like, well, you were flying. Well, I wasn't flying. You know, that was kind of iffy. Gisela has, you didn't get the beef stew. I changed your future. It's like, but is that what you actually saw? Oh, I don't know that. Yeah. So it's all that we're on that cusp of, you know, real magic. And so he kind of nods and says,
"It's fine. We're not here to see your book."
Okay. But my offer still stands, Jean-Paul, that if you wish and can translate it with me, and perhaps when we are not in the midst of the observation here, I would be very interested in trying to translate this with you.
So it seems different from what you asked before. You wish to translate it with me, or you wish me to provide you with a translation?
Oh no, he wants to translate it with you. Like that was his goal, is you show him how you are translating it so that he knows as well. So you can
trying to make sure you're not keeping something away from him that's in there.
Right.
No, I gather what Drew is trying to do out of character. I was trying to make sure about this is an in-character thing.
Okay.
You know? So again, Cloak asked that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You wish to be present.
I would like to work with you on this.
What if you were incapable of understanding it?
Yeah, he kind of he smirks. He's like, "Please."
That's not glib, or he's not trying to be talking down or anything like that. There's certain fundamental realities about the world. You know a lot about astronomy and objects in space.
I do.
Could you necessarily explain those to a layperson and have them understand what you mean?
With enough time.
With enough time. We can give you the meaning, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you would be able to understand them yourself by looking at them, if that makes sense.
Perhaps.
I will give you an additional example, because what Madame Stokes has suggested is what I'm thinking about. Can you explain the concept of understanding to someone who has never experienced it?
I see. You know, there's a philosopher named Plato. He told this story about a cave.
I know the allegory of the cave.
We're going to pause it there. If
Isabel does not know this.
Right. Well, yeah, actually, for shiggles, just because some people
big fan of caves. This seems neat.
Yes, no, they're the allegory of the cave is there are those who sit within the cave and see played across a wall images that are merely the shadows of the things that are going on outside of the cave. But only those who actually venture out of the cave truly understand it. Which, by the way, this is totally just the big Mage the Awakening metaphor.
Pitch.
Yeah. So, anyways, regardless.
How many bears are in the cave?
None.
You hope.
Regardless, for narrative purposes, you guys can have a little bit of a conversation explaining that, listen, there may be some stuff that you just can't understand. Two things happen, though. One, as you guys kind of converse and try to explain, and Mortimer is interested in listening, but he is a skeptic. He believes that magic could be real, but it's not necessarily magic so much as there's sciences that humanity hasn't properly discovered. As things are working, all of your peripheral mage sites go off for just a quick split second. Miss Gisela, you recognize Prime. As that is
like, it's this what I felt before.
Rilla looks up as you are saying this and saying, the potion is done, I think.
Okay, I want to look at it with Prime Sight.
Here we go, kids.
Mage Sight on. What the fuck have you done?
All right. Let us pull up Mage Sight Prime. Active Mage Sight for Prime. You recognize anything you can use as a yantra, which there's tons of stuff. We're not going to go all over that. The presence, but not composition of any awakened spell or attainment effect. You don't see any particular spells or attainments in effect. You can recognize tasks with a glance. There's none. And tell if they're in a hallow or node, which you are not. That said, putting on your mage sight at all, there is something about that small, little travel pot that Rilla has been stirring. If anybody else has mage sight on, do let me know. I'm seeing a nod from Chris. Life and spirit doesn't immediately ping anything. Mind and space. Mind doesn't see any specific mental things, but for you, that potion pot thing is got something going on that may be worth investigating. And then is Theo putting on mind death? Yeah, or matter death. Cool. What is food? We'll have to come over to that momentarily.
It's life knowing.
Oh, okay.
The effects of a potion, the effects of a food.
Interesting. Okay. For matter, nothing, and death would not also register. But for all of you, yeah, there is some weird, normally you, again, we have the whole idea of, supernal symbols are everywhere. That's literally what you are looking at. And this potion, this little pot of a bunch of weird ingredients all muddled together, has something going on. But yeah, it is not, notably with your prime, it is not a awakened spell.
Like, what does it take to see if, like, because I'm curious about the pot.
Oh.
If that's what's done the magic, or if it was just mixing the ingredients in a certain way.
I will give you so much as it is definitely the mix of the ingredients. The pot itself is mundane. The pot would have registered on matter as being something funky, I think. Yeah.
Well, funny you should say that. I'll give it a shot.
What were you doing with Gnosis and Matters?
Craftsman's Eye.
Oh, gotcha. Which, yeah, you look at it, not sure. What is food spell? I love this. And the intent here is to try and recognize the
effects that a imbibed substance might have on the body. So you could use it on, mushrooms or poisons or any sort of thing. So it's kind of like, is this poison plus what would it do?
Okay, cool. I'm going to charge you an additional reach to understand, which is fine because you had the free reach for it, to understand things that are not naturally occurring, i.e. Yeah.
Magical substance.
Yep.
Sure.
And what yantras are you using?
And just concentration.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, so just looking at this thing.
And I'm going to spend a willpower on it, actually.
Oh, actually, hang on. That brings me to your reach. That's instant, and I guess you're casting it on yourself to recognize. Yeah, okay. I'm cool with that.
I mean, I can walk over and grab it and sniff.
Yeah. Well, and I was thinking more of the unveiling, like changing your vision to similar to Fate's Interconnections, where you cast it on yourself and study things each round. Yeah.
Sure. Either way. I was thinking of this as a subject. What does this as a subject do? Okay, so 1, 2, 5, 8.
8?
I said I'm spending a willpower.
Oh, I see.
I just didn't decide that when I wrote the map.
Sure. Missed it.
1.
Needed it. All right. Yeah, looking over this, it looks like this is, from the life side, starting out, this is going to give you a stomach ache. However, before it gives you that stomach ache, it will clear your mind, sharpen your senses, and I think, especially looking at it from the supernal side, it will let you see with a capital S.
Whoa.
Now, what exactly that defines as, you're not quite sure.
You should get them to drink it.
But notably, as Isabel had said to Rilla, let me sniff it first, let me check it out. So yeah, she's basically pouring it into basically like a soup bowl kind of thing out from the pot and kind of setting it to the side, and it is steaming, and it doesn't really smell that great, but she kind of sets it to the side to let it just cool.
I'm gonna ask Rilla, has she done this before, or with other things?
Made potions? No. The side eye.
If anyone does wish to imbibe of this, you're going to want to remedy for a stomachache. But how do I explain this? It seems to be a potion to open your mind.
And like Mortimer looks over at Theo and Cloak and just kind of nods and says, "Okay, so this is."
And then, like, I'll cut him off, and like more to the rest of the group than these folks, but they can get a little quiescence in the way. It's fine. A little
quiescence.
It will allow you to, and then high speech, see.
What was that?
That was understanding.
I said the word see with a very capital S.
You have 3 very quizzical, think cats watching the bird outside going,
It seems to do what it
earlier?
claimed to do.
Mortimer looks to the Rilla and Jules, who's has stopped turning the telescope. His job was to watch the telescope, and he's kind of stopped, and he's kind of half looking over his shoulder. He's totally working, but he's like, what the fuck are they doing? And Rilla says, well, I mean, I made it. I'll give it a shot. Why not, right? And kind of the right is kind of questioning as she looks at Isabel.
It won't poison you.
Shrug.
Just a stomach ache.
Okay. If I vomit.
When you vomit.
I make no promises.
Right.
You might vomit.
And
but...
she, very classy, pinches her nose and tilts it back. And it's not the entire bowl that she's got there, but It's a big gulp. It's that is foul. And kind of sets it down. And yes, for all of you, the peripheral mage sight kind of pings again. For Ash, it would come across, probably as mind. But it also has a little bit of life there too, which is possibly the first time you've seen something so conjunctional and kind of overlapped. But yes, that kind of wafts over. Again, there's no specific, nothing directly to an arcana shows up, but there's definitely a bunch of different stuff that is happening over her and kind of resting over her head and across her eyes. Definitely require active focus mage sight to actually figure out what is happening with her. But as she's kind of blinking and her eyes, she kind of moves away from the fire and kind of looks out and just kind of lifts her head up towards the stars. It works. I see the stars. They're like angels.
I look at her intensely.
Isabel's just slowly reaching for a cup.
But she kind of stands there, kind of walking up to and kind of past the telescope a little bit, not blocking where Jules can see, but her eye, and she's just got this arms back, just she is taking it in. It's the kid at the Grand Canyon of just whoa kind of thing. And then she says, this, I understand. The 4 of you here understand in high speech.
Oh shit.
And then she keeps talking in high speech.
Okay.
This is so new. Yes, I'll follow you. And reaches out and takes the hand of something and starts to walk, not towards the ridge or anything, just away.
Okay, but be don't maybe turn back time to stop her from walking off a cliff, because I can't do that yet.
Does it look like she is physically interacting with something we cannot see?
Potentially. I mean, she's really good at pantomiming. If she's not, her hand reaches out and grabs hold of something, but the hand is kind of, it's not Like, you don't see indents of somebody grabbing her hand, but she's reaching out and holding and starts to walk.
I'm gonna put on all my mage sights and like.
And, yeah, we don't see anything active mage sight on.
At this point now, cool. Okay, so we got a couple things happening here because Chris is over here pantomiming shit. Yeah, something is definitely happening. But for all 4 of your mage sites, nothing. Like, she is doing something, and it is absolutely
goddamn a Bremos potion.
Yep.
That's a pretty good example. But for the 4 of you watching this, nothing particular. Prime, though, and Chris, did you turn all your okay, yeah. So yes, she seems surrounded in a bit of a nimbus of Prime and forces.
And like, I remember what an awakening was like, right?
Yes, you do.
Because for mine, this is kind of what happened.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's very, very similar, in fact.
Okay, I'm gonna turn to Mortar and be like, don't drink that.
Why?
Don't.
As Isabel is drinking it.
It was like, why?
So as you drink the potion, just go ahead and scribble to the notes for yourself. You have a condition for +2 for perception, +1 to composure, to die rolls, not your actual dots. Bump. I feel like I'm missing another one. Hang on, let me pull up a character sheet real quick. Bump. And you can spend a point, make sure I'm using the right terms. A point of willpower to end the condition and activate Mage Sight.
So, are you treating Prime and Forces as ruling arcana for the purposes of Mage Sight when you activate it?
No. What is happening to Isabel is not exactly the same thing that is happening to Rilla right now.
Okay, cool.
So, with my active mage sight, part of that being death, what is happening to her soul?
Oh, it's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, she still has the soul. It's doing cartwheels and somersaults right now.
I think I just want to bask in what's happening here to see it all.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of like follow her because I am concerned about her like stepping off a cliff.
Sure. And remember from your own awakening, like you were seeing a superimposed world. So the cliff is still there, the trees are still there, the brush is still there. Now that
But
said,
if the angel tries to lead her off the cliff, she might walk with it.
She might walk with it. She might fly. She may, try to interact with people who aren't there, or try to interact with people who are there and are not seeing the same thing she is. So yes, it could be.
Yeah,
wild.
I just want to make sure she stays safe.
Sure. But yeah, she is.
So I'm like trying really hard to look and see and follow along, but I'm not seeing anything. You are
not seeing anything. The angels that she saw when she looked up at the stars, you are not seeing. Like, you can see, like, to give you an idea of, like, the less game mechanic, more narrative effects, looking up and a little bit of a squint and you can see the rings of Saturn.
Okay.
Right. So looking up towards, like, stars, they are wonderfully brilliant and amazing, but yeah, they don't look like angels to you. Go ahead. Sorry, Greg.
So she hasn't actually transitioned to an awakened soul yet?
No, because, and this is, of course, your characters very recently, remember, this was a journey that took a bit. And, from your perspectives, oh yeah, we made it. Doesn't happen to everybody.
I definitely want to catch that moment.
Sure. But yeah, the area around her is like suffused with sort of mana, but it's more of a like physical solid thing that's kind of just wafting off of her. You could possibly mess with it.
I'm just observing.
Game mechanics wise, only if we're of the same path.
Correct. That's very true. Which none of you are. But yeah, like, so we cut back to Gizo saying, "Don't drink that." Isabel taking a drink of it.
Well, and Theo says, "Why not?" As she's sort of wandering off to follow.
So let's get a recap of where everybody is. Gisela is following after Rilla to make sure that she doesn't get hurt. Theo is doing similar. Okay. At this point now, I feel like Isabel is kind of star searching and kind of like focusing, crazy eagle vision and probably in her kind of perspective. And
Jules, now would be a good time to find the thing you're looking for.
He's like, I'm trying. And then I'll try the potion too, I get.
No.
Okay. I'm very confused. And Cloak, Legba, what are you up to?
Yeah. Cloak is looking around at all this happening, sees that Gisela is following Rilla. Theo's a little transfixed for the same thing. Isabel is eager to see the object, and up until this point, after the description of this void in space, Cloak has thought, well, I know space, so I might be better able to find this void in space. So he turns to Jules and says, let me take a look.
Are you familiar with telescopes?
No.
Okay. Sure. And
I mean, at this point,
right? Yeah, that's kind of where he's at. He's like, okay, these guys do weird shit. All right, kind of steps back and like kind of marks down a couple notes of where the telescope is currently at, and just be delicate with her.
Sounds good.
Kind of leans over you like with a dad, like with a kid on in the new car. It's like, okay, just easy on the, Yeah.
If you wish to move it, and I give you directions, that would also work for me.
I mean, have at it. I mean, I have quite a few hours ahead of me tonight.
All right. So Cloak is going to gaze through the telescope, and he wants to use his skill in the Space Arcanum to help him find this void. Assuming, of course, from Cloak's perspective, that it is aspected to space in some way. And so I'll describe in more detail what I mean.
Please do.
All right, so
he also has his lucky hour, so.
Right.
That's true. Space has a number of things under its purview, right? Distance, separation, and as well as scrying, so perceiving things at a distance from where you are. So the way Cloak thinks about this void, it was described to him as something that passes behind and in front of the stars, and it's moving through it and it occludes its light. So Cloak thinks that it is a barrier to light, it is a barrier to something, it has physical substance, and that the distance between him and the void is, just some idea, right? Even though it has physical presence in the fallen world, it is just something he needs to think harder about, and he can resolve where it is. So even if he's not able to see it, he might be able to identify where is this thing that's at an incredible distance that blocks the stars. And so he wants to use the telescope as a focus, so enhance his ability to recognize where this object is.
And what do you propose that you are going to roll?
I propose I would cast a spell, right? Mm-hmm. So it would be an improvised spell. So I think there are a few options.
Hey, locate object is probably the... Wait, no, hang on.
Yeah.
Does that matter? Regardless.
No, that's space one. It's knowing. Yeah, and of course the first line in it is all distance is an illusion. But the issue is, with locate object, it's generally referring to objects within a particular area you cast it over, right? So you're trying to maybe locate something on a 2D plane, right? In Cloak's mind, he's trying to think of the stars in the starscape as it just being something in front of your eyes, and when something is there, present, right, he might be able to identify it along that plane there. So when he's looking up at the stars, right, instead of thinking of himself as being on this 2D plane and locating an object that's in X and Y, right, he's looking up at the stars and trying to render it in his mind and his understanding of space as a 2D plane and just figure out where it is in a coordinate grid.
Okay. I get where you're going with this. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
All right, cool.
Yeah, go ahead and it'll be a space 1 spell.
Excellent. Would you like me to put it in a template?
I mean, depends on how much potency you want to put into it.
Okay. Well, let's see how would potency affect this.
Potency definitely seems like more of the thing for this spell.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, he wants to get a decent potency. So yeah, he'll increase the potency at least a little bit. Let's pop it up. All right, cool.
And while Ralph is doing that, we jump back over to Gisela and Theo, who you are following basically a very chatty, almost like chatty drunk, Rilla, who is speaking with people and things, and it is compared to how you guys handle high speech in terms of vocabulary and fluency, like miles a minute, like she is in it and she's just speaking the native language. Now when she comes out, how much of that she'll retain is a whole other question. But you're catching different things and understanding, and like all of a sudden she just stops and just like puts her arms out, and just like the air around and just kind of near you guys gets a little bit colder and then a little bit warmer, as she seems to be in some way messing with forces, as she's just kind of walking through and having conversations, or then stopping to study and look at things that, like at one point she bends forward. It's very kind of Alice in Wonderland, arms behind her back, looking at something. There is nothing there, Rilla. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm just kind of following at a distance. I don't want to interact with this. Let her have her time, but I'm just sort of keeping an eye on her.
Sure.
I'm hoping to scrutinize the moment of transition.
Sure.
It's very passive, like whatever happens. Theo's not... She wants to capture that gem.
Sure.
Okay.
And Chris, you're making a face. What's up?
I was just going to say, after I get Jules back on task, to Mortimer, I'm just like, okay. Your lovely assistant might be becoming one of us. I would suggest neither of you also partaking of that potion until we know exactly what has happened to Rilla.
If I were a more wary man, I might say something about the fact that this is predominantly a women witchcraft coven thing going on here. Is there some problem with me or Jules taking that? Like, you have taken the potion, Rilla has taken the potion, the two of them have gone off to protect Rilla?
Yes.
And now you're telling me that I shouldn't take the potion that you and Rilla have both taken.
I'm saying that a man of science would probably want to see one experiment through before starting the next. I'm also saying I'm fully prepared to stop you from taking that potion.
You can see there's two parts of him,
and she has changed.
I'm getting that vibe. Notably,
yeah, I'll see your attitude and raise you with some belligerence.
But you can see two thoughts whirring in his head, and he goes with the latter basically and says, "Is there some concern for Rilla at this point?"
Each of the four of us went through a trial. She is exhibiting symptoms extremely similar to what the four of us immediately recognized. Just as you would like to be heard on your areas of expertise, this is our thing.
He nods, kind of looks at Legba, Cloak, and
who's like eye deep in the telescope right now, right?
And just kind of like because notably he's not stressed. He's on task. You guys are handling this stuff, and so he's like, okay, and like walks over and doesn't go for the soup bowl or the pot, but picks up the little ingredients little notebook and like picks that up, shows and tucks it into his vest pocket, and says, okay, well, I believe our attentions are split enough, and well, if Gisela is correct, then we're going to see something spectacular tonight anyways, so stay on task, Jules. And Jules is like, kind of gives a, what am I supposed to do? And kind of motions at Jean-Paul, who is into this thing. Cool. So what is our 4 reach for?
4 reach. The reach is instant cast. Sensory range. Advanced scale. And advanced duration.
Okay, cool. And you've got 2 free reach.
In case he needs to scan across the sky.
Right. You've got 2 free reach because it's basically a space 1 spell. That's 2, Arcana 2. Minus 4 for 2 more potency on top of your existing 2, so that brings us to 4. And then Yantra bonus is
Shadow Name and Cabal theme.
Okay.
We do know that the fate of the town rests on how we interact with this void, or at least the information about it.
Absolutely.
And Legba's the master of understanding and the opener of ways. So I think perceiving a void, something blocking a way, the way of light, is how he's thinking of it. And then his son.
Sure.
Exerting control.
Bit of a stretch, getting to that stretch of the shadow name, but I dig it in the opener of ways side specifically, and just that understanding. The blocking light thing, that's iffy. But
okay.
the other part definitely covers.
That
yeah.
Cool.
But so that's 8 minus 4 is 4, 8. Yep.
Great.
And then let
cool.
me roll. How much mana are you spending, if any?
2.
2. Cool. So we are at. What did I just press?
We're at. Oh, wait a minute. So I have 2 paradox dice, right? Mm-hmm. And the Ason would put it down to correct. A chance die.
Yep. So
I won't spend any mana.
Yep. Cool. Not a thing.
Sweet. Cool. All right. So let me roll 8 dice and not get 0.
Hey,
Sweet.
There we go.
Not a praxis, but here we go. Yep. Let's make it happen.
Cool. So yes, as your eyes kind of move across the void, and I imagine that like there's this look down in the telescope and then just kind of like it's not quite working for me. Look up.
Sounds good.
Kind of, and it goes from a measured, controlled response to a more intuitive, maybe there kind of thing as you just kind of flow into this. And Jules is like, he's sputtering. He's like, this is completely unorthodox. We're just follow a pattern, man. You can't just search the sky like this. and then eventually, after about 20 minutes, so we'll catch back up. You spot something. So let us jump over to what everybody else may be doing in that meantime. For Gisela and Theo, yes, it is a continued journey. You also note that her movements, not only is she babbling and talking quickly, her movements are, think very like Neo, these sharp, quick, like her movements are not necessarily exaggerated, but she's just moving very fast. And like her experiences seem to be compounded, and that she's starting to do multiple things at once, where she will talk left, talk right, and seem to be holding two separate conversations that you're getting just bits of. Are you two doing anything other than following along?
No, just following along, paying attention.
If I could, I would like to try to keep her nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want her wandering into town like this.
Sure. So you want to like go steer her by hand kind of thing?
I'm trying to think how to do this without like touching her. Like I want to sort of go ahead and around and just sort of like be a sort of barrier trying to
present yourself as an obstacle.
Yeah.
It's a T-pose for dominance.
Basically,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You kind of like do this half step, give her wide berth coming around, and just kind of stand there in your most imposing Peter Pan pose, like, I'm not sure how to do this. Basketball hasn't been invented yet. But yeah, as she walks towards you, and then like all of a sudden is in your face, not aggressively or anything, and just having a very animated conversation with you in high speech, and you're catching like maybe every fourth word.
Can I try to roll to understand her better?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm cool with this being either
It was into cult before, right? When I was trying to read the book.
Right. So you can either do into a cult and just rely on you picking up the words, or oh my gosh, wits plus composure. It's like, what is perception again? To actually just kind of keep your ears open, so to speak.
Wits plus composure is better.
What?
7 successes.
Oh, damn.
What the fuck?
All right, kids.
First one of those
in
rolls.
there.
Everybody go
Hell
home.
yeah.
The game's over.
4 1s on those 7 dice. They gave you
I
7
want to borrow
successes.
some of those for my next roll, because I just know that you've taken them
Yeah.
from me.
Poor Chris.
Thief of luck.
Wow. I was like, so there's something wrong with the game. It just added
Fucking
her 2
can't
dice
this.
together.
No.
Nope.
Only one of those successes was not a 10.
Yep. Though I do love the last 2 10s you rolled end up re-rolling as 1s.
So good.
So yes, you had this moment of clarity where she is just babbling at you, and like all of a sudden you're just in the zone. Yeah, absolutely. And you're definitely not carrying your half of the conversation, because she is going on. You pick up though a bunch of stuff about Prime. That stuff you're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. That I kind of nope. That's weird forces stuff. I don't get that. Oh, okay, we're back on Prime. Okay, and yeah, and you're she is at this point within context and how she is speaking. She is in some kind of school, a university, and seems to be talking to these professors of magnificent intellect and understanding. And you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Of course, having no understanding of the Obrimos path. But it's just, and yeah, so she's in this Wonderland University of learning all sorts of things of the way the universe works. Theo, you're just like ready for that, like, yeah.
I really want to scrutinize that moment.
Yep. And you could, not to make light of the moment, but you could definitely like begin the scrutiny process. and just try and like figure out what is happening as a full event rather than just like that single big bang moment. So cool. You guys can carry on with that. And Chris, what is Isabel doing at this point? As you know, they're off doing their thing. Mortimer has basically moved over and is watching what Cloak is doing, and having a little bit of kind of background conversation with Jules of like, this is, you know, completely just wild. Well, give him a chance. Let's see what's going to happen. We have all sorts of these other things happening, and Gisela said this is going to be the night. So,
she pitches the rest of the potion.
Okay.
Just like quietly dumps it out in the grass.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Way to go.
Yeah, just for shiggles, can you roll a Dex plus Stealth for me?
Sure.
Yeah, I was just say, I know you're actually pretty decent at this.
No.
No, aren't you?
Don't have stealth.
You don't have any stealth, no.
No one has to.
I got one, though.
You got one. All right, hang on.
Yeah.
Woo. Where's Morty? Mortimer. What are your stats, buddy? Attributes.
See if he notices.
He is distracted, though, so he's definitely not rolling his full pool. Yeah. No. Nope. He's, you know, there's a sound and looks over and you're already done with it. Just give him a look back. Not sure quite what happened, but whatever. And goes back to as Cloak kind of sits back and says, I don't know, what do you say when you see something moving in space?
He says, I see it. And he says it. Is he going to say it in high speech? No, he's not going to do that. No, he's going to turn to them and say, oh, this is what, because this will make his point further from earlier when Mortimer was, you know, going off on a tangent. Or no, it wasn't a tangent. But anyway, so he turns to Mortimer and he says, Mr. Bassoon, the point I was trying to make before is that people understand things for different reasons and through different means. I used my intuition to perceive where this object would be, and then directed the telescope there with Jules' assistance. It is there. If you look, you will see it as well.
Yeah, Jules kind of like pats you on the shoulders. I really didn't assist. And Mortimer's like, yep, sure, fine. And like is not rudely, but he's like, I'm getting in there and looking at this thing. And while your initial sighting is accurate, you have found the astrovoidal. Like he has to take a minute to kind of fiddle with the focus and actually properly bring it in to into focus, and looks at it and he's like, that's it, Jules. Yes, you know, and starts Jules scribbling down a bunch of notes and it's like, sir, can I? Oh yeah, hang on. Like there's a shift because finally other people are going to see this thing, and Jules kind of looks down and is looking in to the, you know, the eyepiece and says, so dark. Oh,
May I?
That's so wrong. Yeah. Mortimer is like, at this point, Mortimer is looking like proud dad in the hospital, right? Like, yeah, everybody come see my kid.
Seeing as I can currently see the rings of Saturn with my naked eye, I figure I'm probably the best one to take a look at this.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. And like I said, at this point, everybody is...
No, like that's in
Mm-hmm.
that's straight up
yeah.
like exactly how she delivers it and everything.
Yep.
Like petrichors.
that's true.
Intense.
Yeah. And so, you know, they kind of shift back and like the two of them, Mortimer and Jules, kind of stand up and, you know, make way for a lady as you know, you lean in, and now with it in focus, and then of course your eagle elf eyes going on.
With my anime eyes.
Yes. There is definitely a thing moving through space. Being black on black, it is hard to see the edges of it except for when it passes by other stars, galaxies, things out there. And yes, you have your mage sight on. Is that what we're signaling? Yes. This thing is not alive. It is not a spirit.
Damn it.
Yeah, sorry.
It was such a good theory.
It is such a good theory.
It's a great theory. So good in character too.
But the forces side of it, it's not exactly a forces thing. You can tell if things are powered or not. This thing out there that you're looking at, it's cold. It's like really cold. Like it doesn't have any temperature whatsoever. In more modern terms, this thing is moving at 0 Kelvin.
Whoa.
So yeah, let's break some more physics.
Isabel doesn't have a reference for any of that shit.
Right. But
she knows.
It's real cold.
Right.
Is at absolute 0. Cloak wants to do something once Isabel steps away from
Yeah, she's like trying to frame it. I'm disappointed. It's not alive.
But it moves.
It is cold?
It is in the void of space. I would expect so. Yes.
Colder than the space around it.
That's an interesting observation.
You're like a ways away now, right, Craig?
Oh yeah. You guys have been walking.
Craig is interjecting from himself.
Yeah.
0 Kelvin is like no molecular motion at all. It's zero energy.
No motion.
This is just like a complete lack of energy, period.
All right, let's throw my 1 gnosis, 1 forces, and +3 willpower trying to figure out what the fuck this thing is.
I do want to turn around and come back, because I imagine...
You can definitely hear Mortimer. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, Theo...
Can I roll?
Theo's watching.
Sorry, buddy.
Theo's got her. I'm just going to thumbs up at Theo or whatever the 1800 thumbs up is.
And that's fine, but
run back up the hill.
You would know that Theo was not watching her. That would be pretty obvious, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my mind, you've got eyes on her.
Let me go see what this thing is. Right.
I'm gonna go see the thing.
Okay. And Ralph, you were saying you had something when Isabel kind of sits back. What's up?
I want to look at it with space sight.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Isabel stepped back in frustration.
Right. Hang on, because space sight definitely a thing. Hang on. There was another. Was it?
Oh, well, I mean, mind and space.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm assuming there's no mind. It's not a thinking being. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, it took me a second to remember what I was going through. So, yes. Mortimer takes another kind of look into it and just like kind of sits back and, yes, please. Kind of motions for Cloak to come in and like looks over and sees Gisela running over and yes, get Rilla. Where's Rilla going? Kind of scenario.
Thea's got her.
Cool.
And yeah.
So, with space sight on, now that I know where this is, right? How far away from us is it?
Okay, I will answer that question. But first, this thing has a mind.
Oh, yes!
But it's not alive.
It is not alive, and it is at 0 Kelvin.
Thinking being. This is so good.
This thing is so fucked up.
Well, I'm just going to sit over here and be a grumpy theorist.
Yes! The Mastigos is the ST.
But that's not the intention.
Because this should be a spirit. Let's be honest, right?
No, it is not.
Oh, maybe not, actually. What am I saying?
It's a robot or something.
It is a robot. Ooh, hang on. Let me get my notes. No, it is not a robot.
Space robots.
So yes, mine definitely tells you this thing is a thinking thing.
Okay.
Or thinking things, plural?
Ooh, cool.
It is very hard to tell. Space-wise, seeing the distance,
Yes.
It is multiple millions and billions of miles away.
Okay.
But also about 100 feet away.
Whoa.
At the same time.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, that's revelatory. Let's see, what else? Yeah, cool. Then I'm going to try and scrutinize it.
Sure. With Gnosis plus...
Ooh, I want to do both. But probably better to understand something about its spatial qualities before I even try and rip my mind apart by understanding its mind. Or its minds. So let's do that.
Cool.
And then I can also take a step back and allow Gisela to do something before I continue scrutinizing it. So. All right. I'm going to roll. Let's do a spell roll with spinning a willpower. So 7 dice.
Okay.
Great.
One success. One not door down.
I don't know. Yeah. What's the opacity?
So we are doing the space side of this, so that is going to be 3.
Okay.
And so as Gisela is coming back, and Isabel, you're having your grumpy theosis moment, there's a big wolf that you have been watching and seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not watching you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, you have the fucking 3 wolf moon kind of scenario of this thing looking up and just making angry eyes at the thing that is up there.
We had talked about diving in to scrutinize the wolf with also what is it? Speak with beasts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or to try and communicate with it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be really good.
Trust.
Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot the spell. I was thinking of Animal Ken, but yeah. I'm with you now.
Well, the spell gives you a bonus equal to potency on Animal Ken.
Yep. But when you said speak with animals, I just went straight to the skill and I forgot about the spell. Yeah. Heck yeah. That is not an additional paradox, as you haven't...
I haven't done
it. Cool. So it's just the one. What yantras are we using?
My shadow name and concentration.
Okay, cool. So 1 dice. If you spend mana, go for it. Ooh.
Right there.
Roll your wisdom. Cool, no problem. Get that little bloody nose, and then 7 dice.
7.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Spell takes effect.
Skin of my teeth.
Yeah.
One's good enough.
1 is good enough.
All right. And then, how do you want me to roll this in this sort of context?
Why don't you try speaking in high speech? And if necessary, I will tell you to roll Animal Ken.
Okay. Is this why you've been watching me? Waiting for this?
No.
What is it?
Heartache. And we're going to pause there. And I'm going to
say Heartache?
Heartache.
Cool.
And we are going to go on a quick break, and I'm going to get some more coffee. And
I'm gonna feed a kitty cat.
yeah, poor cat. So Twitch guys will be back in 5 minutes. Please go walk around, stretch your legs, stuff like that. YouTube guys will be back in a blink. All right. Yeah, actually, so the wolf says Heartache. And Gisela's basically made it over to the little camp space. Theo, you're just you started scrutiny, didn't get anything on that first one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So yeah, who makes the next bit?
What do you mean heartache?
It bears heartache.
It's not alive.
Kind of looks down at you and says, "Am I alive?"
Yes.
Yeah, I think you get the, doubtful, smug, face of, not the way you were thinking.
Did Cloak hear Isabel engage with the wolf?
Oh yeah, because, yeah.
Isabel's just talking to herself in high speech.
Great. Then when he hears her say, it's not alive, Cloak says, but it thinks. He's not trying to interrupt the conversation, just provide that bit of information.
With how deep in she's had to go to scrutiny, I don't know that she hears you.
Okay.
It may be one of those, wait, did you say something later?
Yeah. So... what should I do?
That is why I'm here. Hey, Ash has brought out supernal vision. The ultimate in mage. The fuck is this?
The fuck is that?
Cool. So we'll pause that conversation where you can step away or whatever. And yeah, so Gisela, you're making a beeline for the telescope.
Yeah, and I want to look at it. And basically once I want to look at it with mage sight on and see if that tells me anything.
Right.
Which presumably little to nothing.
Tell you a couple things, yeah. Cool. So fate, it doesn't notice, you don't see a dramatic failure, exceptional success. It does reveal the presence of a destiny, capital D. Fate, time, when it's about to act, even with reflexive thing, may be able to preempt it. No temporal warps or something that has come back from the past. And then prime, it is not a yantra, it is not a awakening spell. It's not task, hallow, or node. So you're coming up with similar bupkis the way Isabel was.
A destiny.
Yes.
Interconnections is what lets me see the details of destinies with reach.
It doesn't let you. Oh, yeah, actually, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that first then, now that I know it's got one.
Okay. While you're casting that, I'm trying to think of the best way to. Well, yeah, actually, I'm just gonna propose it this way, kind of tongue in cheek. Which destiny do you want to investigate?
It's got more than one.
It has, one might say, a myriad.
Oh, it's many minds.
Yeah, if you want to start, throw advanced scale to get, 5 subjects, let me see these.
Okay, it's 2 reach to get the details of the destiny.
Mm-hmm.
When, for instance,
This is sensory range, by the way.
Okay. Instant range +2. Mm-hmm. I don't really need a lot of duration because I just want to know this thing.
Unless you plan to evaluate the entirety of it, moving your eye over the whole mass.
The mass in general fits within the scope of the telescope.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not moving the telescope over to... Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, actually, to give context within the idea of like, okay, the Saturn is this small little thing in the telescope. The void itself in the telescope is you're a little bit bigger than your thumb. So it is in fact very hard to see. This is not some massive thing. The only and that's why it is so hard to see, because only when it crosses by. Perfect.
Let's see, this one I have a -2 for scale, so I could get more of them.
Okay, instead of doing a
without
advanced scale.
Overreaching even further.
Gotcha. So did you have advanced scale in your reach?
No, for reach I had instant range +2 for destiny details.
Gotcha. So you've got 2 subjects, which is fine. That's what I was just trying to figure out here. Cool. And your Yantra bonus is from...
Can I use the telescope as a thing that is letting me see them? Like the mirrors in it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, especially for a +1, I'm not going to make a fuss about that. So that is just one paradox, because you haven't... Yeah. Nothing comes up.
Okay, and I'm rolling 4.
5, 3, yep. This is where she gets 4 successes. Oh, just 1.
1 success.
Cool. So yeah, you have a myriad of destinies. So I'm going to throw the most narratively important ones at you, just to give you an idea of what you're looking at. One of the destinies is ensure the fall of the Roman Empire. Another one says kill Abraham Lincoln.
Cool.
Okay.
Who you don't even know who Abraham Lincoln is.
No.
This is great.
But yeah, I'm going
this is terrible.
Relay that to everyone else. Like, it's a bunch of things. And yeah, 2 destinies, these 2 things. And then I want to try to look at it more.
Sure.
With my mini paradox spell.
Yeah. So that's 3 overreach plus the 1 from earlier. So 4. Are you spending any mana on that?
Yeah, I have plenty of mana. I'll spend 3.
Good. Down to 1. I think. Oh, and there it goes. Nothing. And so roll your 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
Trying to remember what I was using as the answer bonus.
I mean, for this one, concentration works pretty well.
Yeah.
Actually, before you roll, because I just remembered, supernal vision is going to be based on your potency, if I remember correctly.
With questions you can ask per turn.
Yeah, that was one of my reaches for an advanced you can't do advanced potency, can you?
You can if you want, but it won't have a huge benefit.
Right, it wouldn't affect it, yeah.
Supernal vision unless you need to break through a clash.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do a -2 then.
Okay.
And I guess 1 less reach, but whatever, it's fine.
Yep. You just keep an extra mana. So instead that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 6. So you'll get 2 questions. 6 dice, 6 questions. Or 2 questions. Jesus.
So close to exceptional.
Oh. All right. So what 2 questions would you like to ask?
Let me find the spell again.
Page 166 in the PDF.
To which supernal world is the target most closely aligned?
Death.
By that, you mean, what you call it?
Oh, yes, Stygia. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I was including the reach for the nature of supernatural beings and effects other than supernal.
Okay.
Because I figured this might not be a supernal thing.
Right. And so, yeah, I'll cover it because there's this stuff in that top paragraph as well. I'll just handle that after your questions. Or actually, hang on. Yeah, before you ask anything further. Sorry. Yeah. Whether it is connected to the supernal, i.e. if it's a mage, sleepwalker, proximus, blah, 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 domain, verge, imbued, enhancer, artifact. Yes, it is. It is connected to the supernal, but it is definitely not a mage, sleepwalker, proximus. You don't even know what that is. Sleeper. And
not anymore.
Right. Domain or verge. Yeah, you recognize that this thing is a place where the supernal or something like it touches. And then supernatural.
I mean, it says you get your answers by like just a symbol sort of flashing over it. So like I might not even know what it means, but I see the name.
Yep. And then reveals the nature of supernatural things other than supernal. But yeah. Most of the questions return nonsensical imagery that best translates as not applicable. Yeah. So you have one more question.
I mean, it's not a person.
Yeah, and if you want to go a little bit off book, that's something that's similar to this stuff.
I guess, like, how many arcana is roughly what I get? I don't want to, like, can it do magic?
No, it is not capable of magic.
Okay, it is.
With the kind of view that you've got on this is less of a person and more of a place, which makes Cloak's revelation of it is many thinking things problematic.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of destinies, minds.
Is that something Gisela is saying out loud?
Yeah. It's related to death.
Hi, Layla.
Layla.
Yeah, related to Stygia. Yep.
Chat's blowing my fucking mind right now.
So when Gisela says those things, Cloak says, they are related to death. It is a confluence of minds, an impossible distance away, yet close enough that I could run to it.
Mortimer is looking at the three of you like you're absolutely off your gourd.
Well, when he looks quizzically again, Cloak reinforces the point he made before. That, and this is what he's saying in character, it is challenging to explain understanding to someone who has not experienced it.
I understand this, but I'm still skeptical of what you were saying, but as, Miss Bauer said, it would be here, and here it is. So while you are seeing many things about this void, I don't, it is an astronomical phenomenon, and if you see more into it, it would not be the first time that soothsayers and wise men and witches have seen things foretold in the stars. I'm imagining that Gisela didn't actually verbalize what the destinies that she saw was.
No, I said that.
Oh, okay. The specific two?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's there a place?
I mean, so is the earth that we stand on.
I think she means a realm.
It's where part of the other world touches ours.
Jump over to Craig.
I would love to be there right now, but Drew threw a really shiny object at Theo.
I know. I threw a shiny object to see who, if anybody, chased after it. Cool. But yeah, you can roll your Gnosis plus Death again, by the way.
I'm going to throw a willpower into it.
Sure.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Starting to, and like, this is something that, between it being death and something that you have seen, this is an awakening. It only had one opacity.
Mm-hmm.
And you are seeing it. Though, obviously, from this end, you're like, okay, this is from another path, which is, well, compared to Stygia, this is bright and shiny and orderly. And where, Stygia was very much about transitions, and, cold and dark and, absence of things. This is bright and shiny and never-ending cycles and turning machines, and mandalas of, order, and just like, oh, that's a weird place to view. Not that it's your inferior arcana, but it's just vastly different from Stygia.
Mm-hmm. And she still hasn't... Like, I remember the moment where I signed my name, like, put my name.
Mm-hmm.
She still hasn't got to that point yet.
And, notably, she has to, in mechanics terms, she needs to get enough arcane beats to buy Gnosis 1.
Right, okay.
Try to get 25 of them fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Weeks.
But I guess if every
can take
experience
weeks.
is novel,
Yep.
then you might get one per scene.
Potentially, yep. Which brings us back to the, viewing her physically. If you don't mind me narratively saying that you kind of come out of that focus mage side as just like, aha, that is what this is. And yeah, she's moving faster again. Like, fast.
Okay.
Like, the wind comes off of her arms as she's moving through space.
Definitely going to try and keep up. I want to try and capture that moment.
Right. Cool.
When her soul transitions from just being a soul to being an awakened soul.
Mm-hmm. All right. So is anybody clamoring for the telescope at the moment? Or
Yeah, I mean, once Gisela pulled away, Cloak wanted to continue scrutinizing.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
So,
We could go to it?
is that something Gisela's asking in character?
Yeah. I don't know that I think it's a good idea, but it is a place. It is both near and far. It's Heartache.
Though that
I've
part you
experienced
don't
enough
necessarily know.
hardened.
Oh, did
That was
Mom
from
say
the
that?
wolf.
You may have heard it. It was not explained. Because as far as I know, I'm still talking to the thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you had just kind of settled that after that.
No,
okay.
because I asked it a question and all it said was, "That's why I'm here."
Oh, no. Shoot.
I said, "What should I do?" And it said, "That's why I'm here."
Right. Specifically, to provide a little bit more context, it is watching you to see what you are going to do about this thing.
Ah.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, it is your watcher. It is watching you. Cool. So down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
2 of 3.
Can I, with my anime eyes, can I see it without the telescope?
Looking towards it, yeah, it's a bare little dot in the sky, but yeah, having seen where it's at and kind of follow the telescope, it's there, this itty bitty little thing, and you can just occasionally, it basically seems to make stars glint as it kind of passes by, and so it fades them in and out. And it is moving at a fair clip. Like, you've had to, those with the telescope have had to nudge it a little bit as it moves.
Can I try and study it again?
Oh, yeah. What are you planning to use?
Forces.
Okay.
Is it a different enough situation that, like, do I have a cumulative penalty from my failure earlier?
Oh, for paradox, you mean?
No, for scrutiny.
Oh, no, it's, yeah, you're good.
My last willpower.
One success. Yeah, so, the forces side specifically gives you this...
Sorry, I meant to announce I was going to spend some mana on that.
Oh, okay.
Like 3?
Sure. Yeah, so making that first little foray through that opacity and seeing that, yeah, this is a place, as Craig mentioned, it is absent of the energy of forces. Like it to the point of, yes, it is very, very, very cold, but it because it lacks temperature. It lacks light. But, beyond that would, be further scrutiny.
How is it moving?
Huh?
How is it moving?
That is a good question.
I was kind of hoping that was part of my study. Velocity and all that, and movement.
Oh, yeah, no, I get that part. I'm trying to figure out how you would...
I'd settle for how fast.
Well, yeah, actually, I do know the answer. It isn't moving at all. However, this big spinning rock that you're on
That's what I'm talking about.
Which sounds like a revelation, but I feel like Mortimer's going to be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, Mortimer is not going to appreciate the idea. No, it is literally not moving.
When you suffer a breakup or you get really disappointed because somebody put mayo in your burger at Burger King and you hate mayo, right? And you feel like heartache is something that's deep in the bowels of space, just like pinioned right there. That's we've just learned. That's what Drew has reinforced for us.
Okay, so I pull myself out of several fucking incepted layers of stuff. What did I miss?
Yeah, Gisela's at the telescope now.
I thought Cloak was scrutinizing, but I guess he can do it away from the telescope. If he can do it away, then we can both do things at the same time.
I bet literally as in the observation area.
Cool. Well, I'm not trying to claim ownership over it. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
I understood.
You just used it to scrutinize. And actually, after that, I think I think it's everybody's kind of taking turns. Trying to hang on, and Jules is going over and writing notes. And as you guys are kind of talking, Isabella's over here having a little conversation with herself in this weird. He doesn't know what. This has been very, very off-putting and a little, kind of scary. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to writing my notes.
I'm gonna go sit with him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's like, as we've got the little awning space and the wood planks, and so he's down just kind of on like a blanket that's been left there because again, chilly in the evening. He kind of looks at you as he's scribbling some notes under like a hooded lantern.
Is there any sort of context scientifically to explain an absolute?
I mean, everything exists in variations and scales and, relative things to one another, though I guess relativity isn't here, so we're not really talking about that, but
right. One of the things that I can sense and influence is the energy of the world.
okay.
Heat, lightning.
Oh, okay. Now back in his wheelhouse.
Okay. Whatever that thing is, has none.
Curious. Kind of looking up vaguely to where it's at.
And positionally, it is not moving.
He sets his book down and says, now, I know it seems that some things, our Earth here doesn't seem to be moving, but it's actually spinning at an incredible speed. That's why, and like he goes in, yeah, go ahead.
Jules, I'm at least somewhat familiar with the Earth being round. And though my people tried to convince the world for many years that we were at the center of our universe, we have all followed with the, the sun and whatnot.
Right.
So I understand what you're saying. What I am telling you is that that thing is not moving. In literally any measure. Now, is there any way that you might be able to explain that?
No. And like there's a sudden scramble over for the notes. And he's like, and he starts scribbling some stuff and basically is looking through the neatly charted stuff from Rilla where she had like the various places that Mortimer has found it. And he's working a problem. And Mortimer, pulls his eye from the telescope and looks over and relinquish it to whoever's next. You guys are all kind of like cycling around this thing, and comes over to the two of you. And Jules kind of looks up, sir. If it's in a fixed point and not moving at all, and Mortimer kind of gives him a look and goes, oh, our model would be that could explain why, and like heads together, they nerd out, and I'm not going to try and do any kind of physics or math talk as they basically try and reconfigure their model.
Gentlemen? Any chance you could clue me in to what you're discussing?
Oh, I mean, they're talking openly, but yeah, basically coming through to the idea that if it's a fixed point in space, that the Earth is turning, moving around the sun, and perhaps trying to figure out if that is the reason that it has this odd kind of pattern that they've tried to deduce, but before they were expecting it to be moving through space in some kind of orbit somewhere out there, and now wouldn't have. And now if it's just a single fixed point, and yes, some of you in chat, I see you. Stop with the science. Don't try and do it. I bring it up in Discord all the time. Don't try and bring your science in here because it's just going to fall apart when you start messing with metaphysical, supernatural bullshit. Noctol is the first one to say, wasn't me. It wasn't. Harry, what did I just say? Wait, the wind would be moving very super fast?
You just described what we are seeing in game.
Yep.
It looks like it's moving very fast, but it is not.
Yep. But it's
at all.
Yeah, and we are talking about very fast, like it is moving, crossing over planets and stars really, and galaxies. Yeah. And then sometimes moving
at a perceptible
behind them.
rate.
Right.
Which is why it's really impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But yeah, they kind of relay that, and they're trying to fix up a model real quick on the fly. They're just jotting down some notes, and it's very clear that they're gonna have to work on this for like weeks to see if it actually pans out.
So, is that a helpful observation that I made, or
they both kind of look at you, and it's like a very haggard eyebrows, like it might be, or you might just be giving us a few headaches for the next week. We will see.
Fair enough.
Right. Jumping over to Theo, it's starting to get hard to keep up with Rilla. She is standing in one place and then has suddenly over there in a imperceptible blur of motion. And you are having to jog in the dark to try and keep up.
With my mage side up. So I imagine I'm tripping and falling. And
I would go so far as to say that with mage side up, especially death, darkness really doesn't bother you.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
but you do get a -2 to see like actual obstacles on the ground.
But yes, notably, and this is more on the narrative, I'm not throwing a mechanical issue at you just yet. But yeah, she's moving with ridiculous pace and speed.
Ludicrous speed.
Yes.
Okay. But I only need her to be in sensory range to scrutinize, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just keep making sure I track her.
Keep up. Sure. But yeah, you can go ahead and throw another. But like I said, at this point you have scrutinized what you can. Yeah, so you're just kind of watching her.
1 success.
Cool. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, at this point you don't really need to roll because at this point you've cleared the opacity and stuff, and so you're just at this point just observing a thing that you understand, waiting for that
kind
moment.
of anchoring my hold on so I can capture that moment.
I dig that. Cool. And so we jump back to
Isabel walks over to Cloak. Wait, did I tell him about the wolf, or was that Theo?
Maybe
you asked Theo.
It was Theo.
Do you see a big wolf? No.
Okay. So I have had a denizen of the primal wilds observing me for the past few days.
That sounds threatening.
Yeah, well, it's a big ass wolf, so yes. She didn't say big ass, but it's an incredibly large wolf.
With a huge ass.
I repeat what I said.
Well, it is concerned about the thing that we're looking at.
Concerned in what way?
The wolf is the one who said heartbreak. It contains heartbreak. It has heartbreak.
Do we like heartbreak or heartache more?
I like heartache.
Okay.
Heartache, sorry.
That's fine. Yeah. I was just like, hey, if we like break better, we can go with that. But yeah, heartache.
Ah, it's Billy Ray Cyrus in the sky. No, so, and apparently the entire purpose of this wolf observing me is to see what I will do about it.
What do you want to do about it?
Make sure it does not come here.
I think that's a noble goal. But it is always here. It is presently a short jog from here. Actually, jog might not be a word in 1840s parlance, but Okay, fair enough.
I was informed that petrichor hasn't been invented yet, so
Yeah,
Yep.
it's it was like 2005.
it's okay. It's just in high speech. It's fine.
Right.
Yep.
To clarify for Ralph specifically, the 100 feet away is a very specific point that you can point at down the ridge.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh,
But you meant like in the sky. Okay.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Cloak thinks of it differently now, and I think of it differently as a consequence.
Okay.
And
It's
so,
both
okay,
up there
gotcha.
and right here. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Maybe-
I get it.
Maybe
now.
somewhere
It's
down, maybe in the
it's-
middle of the graveyard.
Yes, its manifestation is present,
No.
Or
it is,
in the mind.
In the mine.
and I know exactly where it is. Right. So,
Yes.
where is it?
It is in the
Where
mine.
is it in space? It's in the mine.
Oh,
It
All right.
is. Yeah, just I mean, you guys are on the ridge. It is down
Huh?
below you.
Okay.
In the first mine, it's kind of near the collapse.
Okay,
Yeah,
near the
I
collapse.
mentioned that really.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
How about that?
Ooh, buddy. All right. So then Cloak's going to say something a little different. He says, I believe we are perceiving the thoughts of a place that touches on this world. And we bring it into this place, this world, when we think of heartache. You know, because Cloak thinks in concepts and stuff like that. He says, I think the only way to stop heartache from being a part of our reality is to stop people from feeling it. There is someone feeling it right now below us.
Late at night, in the mines.
Mm-hmm. I'm inclined to go down there. But I mean, there is, second or third
I
shift.
mean, you have one of your people locked up behind the collapse in the mines.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it could be her. Yeah, that's a really good point. Oh, man. Yeah. See, I out of character wasn't thinking that. Imagine Cloak might be maybe he's a little more that. Who
Probably
knows?
remembers
Anyway.
her down there.
Yeah, let's assume.
Let's
Cloak
assume
didn't just
Cloak
forget.
remembers that his
Yeah.
Very, very important friend, member of his family. And so Cloak suddenly understands. And he says, oh, I know who it is.
What? What do you mean, who it is?
I introduce you to Sanite and Missy J. The sisters.
Mhm.
The ones always with me.
Uh-huh.
Sanite chose to undergo initiation. To become a mambo. And to take leadership of Les Enfants de Chamblize.
Why does that sound ominous?
Well, she's been locked behind rocks or not locked, but she's been trapped behind rocks for days at this point. She chose the mine collapse as the site for her initiation.
Okay.
Well, I don't think there's any way to stop heartache from affecting us, from affecting our world. There may be a way for us to influence what people do in response. Gisela mentioned 2 destinies
Among
that are wrapped up.
many.
Oh yeah,
There-
sorry.
yeah,
She mentioned
every-
2.
Myriad things that this thing is meant to do here. And I mean, it succeeded with Rome, I guess. Is Holy Roman Empire gone?
It was the Roman Empire, not the Holy Roman
Okay.
Empire. Yeah. Ye old Caesar and them, yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, for like 400 years.
It's been a bit, yeah.
At the most optimistic sort of timeline.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were counting the Holy Roman Empire as the Roman Empire.
Right. Nah. In this particular case, no.
But Byzantium.
Right. Constantinople. Oh, no, don't do it. Y'all stop with the song right now.
No, I'll do it.
I'll be stuck in my
Wait,
head.
so it's already fulfilled some of them? I don't know if the other person is assassinated.
And there's Abraham Lincoln guy.
In 1843 in Colorado, I don't think we would have
It's not
known
that
about
far
Abraham
away.
Lincoln.
Nope.
He's not that far away.
Nope. No, I believe he is currently wrestling in Illinois.
I think Heartache is a collection of thoughts. If it is not a being itself, it functions as a being because it is an amalgam of thoughts of heartache. And those thoughts, in this case, are thoughts that are destined to affect the world in many important ways.
I'm going to interject here just a little bit. This thing is not merely thoughts. This is active influence upon the world.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It does stuff on the world.
Uh-huh.
Causing
Yeah,
things.
it's doing those destinies on us.
Correct.
It's actively evoking them as opposed to inspiring the thoughts that lead to people evoking the destinies.
I mean,
Is that what you're saying? So a distinction in my mind is this. If it inspires heartache and its destiny is to inspire heartache in someone who is likely to do something. Right?
No.
It makes it happen because of the thoughts it's having.
Yeah, you can kind of go with that. But yes, it makes bad things happen.
Gotcha. Okay.
Can
I would like to think that most of this is just sort of stream of consciousness thought on Cloak's behalf.
Mm-hmm.
And Isabel's just standing there going,
Yeah, I mean, of course, the latter 30 seconds was out of character, but that makes
Sure.
complete sense to me.
Yeah,
Makes
can
complete
I
sense to
like, take my interconnections and try to do it again, searching for a destiny up there that might be related to us?
Oh,
here.
sure. Mm-hmm.
So I cast it with a duration and just sort of look at it for a while, casting around.
Why don't you find your dad?
He works first shift.
No. Up there.
Oh.
So instant range, duration, and then 2 for the specifics.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm overreaching by 3. I have overreached twice already, so that's plus 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
I'll spend 2 mana.
Okay.
And for Yantras, I'm using concentration and the telescope. Basically, as
Concentration
mirrors.
by itself is 2. So the
It's 2?
Mhm.
Oh, so it's 3? Okay.
Yep. So long as you're doing nothing but the spell, or in this case, using it, I'm cool with. Yeah. So it will be 3. And you're overreaching by 2 plus 2, and you're spending 2 mana, so I'm rolling 2 paradox. Roll your wisdom, please.
Oh man!
Oh, she.
The bad thing.
The bad thing. Go ahead and roll your spell.
Bad.
Because you were containing the paradox, it's not going to affect the spell roll.
Unless you want a dramatic failure to contain the paradox.
I don't think that's a thing. Is it?
Jesus, 8 dice, 1 success. All my luck came early.
Yep. Cool. So yes, interconnections takes on, and you also, as you do this, there's this weird kind of abyssal sensation, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, but I want to go over the interconnections first. And so you kind of study the thing up there and see what links it has down, right? Is the idea? So
yeah, I want to find if any of them are destined here.
Sure, absolutely.
I feel like, yes, since we're all here for a reason and coincidences aren't real.
Somebody's gonna get heartache and try and kill everybody. That's what's about to happen.
Yeah, there is one single, little destiny thread coming down from it into the community. In fact, right down into the mines underneath your feet. And I think that's right, because you have the destiny.
Yeah, I can see what the destiny is.
Which is unravel the children of broken chains.
As soon as I get that, I'm going to just stop looking at the thing and turn to Cloak and tell him. That's what it's doing here.
Cloak opens his mouth and then closes it and opens his mouth again and then says, "It's not going to win."
We know that it's trying, so now we know what we're fighting.
Can you tell what would happen if I were to aid Sanite?
Perhaps. Do you want to check a paradox condition before I start trying to do more spells?
This is very true. Thank you for bringing that back to my attention.
Because I could see your future and see what's going to happen. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's the most likely outcome?
But I just got some nasty abyssal backlash in my soul, so...
Yep, you gotta deal with that.
You'll be fine. It's only a 1 potency.
Yep. Considering what you were studying, you have the Abyssal Nimbus. Blah, 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 blah. Your Nimbus is disfigured by the Abyss. Corruption cascading through her sympathetic links. Mage and any subjects affected by her Nimbus, including sympathetic ties, influenced by her long-term Nimbus. Not that that's a concern for you right now. Or anything imprinted with her signature Nimbus. You haven't imprinted any, but that. Again, the resonant condition applicable to abyssal entities. If the paradox roll that inflicted this rolled an exceptional success, she gets the open condition instead, which you do not. You're just resonant.
Oh, that's nasty.
It is very nasty.
Yeah, you don't want Goma come in your body.
Yep.
So, if I cast this spell on Cloak, that's going to put my Nimbus on him, right? No?
It would put the signature Nimbus of, anybody you have an active spell on, including your friend Jules there.
No.
In addition, the abyssal corruption is readily apparent to anyone who scrutinizes her signature Nimbus, long-term Nimbus, and her long-term Nimbus becomes twisted by unreality of the abyss. A Moro's long-term Nimbus might cause bizarre materials with impossible atomic materials to appear, while the religious revelations of an Abrimos Nimbus take on a nihilistic tone. Resolution. An abyssal entity uses the condition to manifest. The mage scours the condition from her pattern. The mage allows the condition to lapse after the specified time, which, by the way, is because you're currently enlightened 1 story or a month. Arcane beat when the condition lapses.
Scour that shit.
Okay, so is this doing something to Jules right now?
Not currently. It is just making him resonant, and therefore similar to if you were doing stuff with ghosts and spirits, it's resonant and can be nudged into being abyssal, and being open to allow an abyssal entity to cross over, be summoned.
Okay. Well, I imagine I can feel this when it happens, right?
Yeah, there's because your Nimbus is everything just coming off of you.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm going to.
If you would be, what does it feel like? Because we know what your nimbus is. So how do you feel this has kind of twisted up a little bit?
It's probably going from just like a sense of fatalism to like full on despondency. Beyond just fate is laid out in front of you to like, and it's bad.
It's not just...
And there's nothing you can do about it.
It's no longer a straight shot. You can't make any decisions to... No, it's all downhill from here, kid.
Yep, all downhill from here. Shut up, I see you. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Before I answer Cloak, just sort of step away and... Sort of like look around and looking down at myself and looking around at Jules, because he's got his spell, his luck spell, which he hasn't used, but whatever. And yeah, I'm gonna try to take it out. But like, I guess just sort of trying to manipulate my pattern, find where the nasty thing is, like the central point of it, and then just remove it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. A note. Scouring a paradox condition in this manner deals a single point of lethal damage, but you don't gain mana.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was going to remove Scour Strength.
No, because
No.
that is,
Damage.
it has to be lethal damage.
Oh, it doesn't take
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. Yeah.
I thought I was going to do both. Okay.
I don't remember. Is it resistant lethal for this as well?
It says it just
Probably,
deals
yeah.
a point of lethal damage. So I would suspect that it is similar
normally
to
is,
other scouring. Right.
Yeah, it normally is, but I don't remember it saying explicitly.
No,
in
it
that
doesn't
section,
say it,
so.
but yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and call it resistant. But yeah, so yeah, all of a sudden Giza
I have this
goes.
vision of just sort of like reaching inside her, like just sort of torso and pulling it out.
Metaphorically speaking, and then all of a sudden there's this
Metaphorically
wound.
speaking, but also there's a wound there now.
Ooh.
Yeah, so yeah, which notably, Giza gets up, walks away, and does this. Jules looks over, and Mortimer looks over, and how are you? What are you doing to cover the blood that is probably soaking into? Yeah.
I mean, probably just sort of trying to staunch the bleeding by like holding the cloth tighter to my chest.
Man, I was expecting you guys to be real subtle with this, with all of them, and nah, you guys are just like, yeah, we're mages. I love this. This is great. This is just not what I was prepped for.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna like try to find like cloth or something that I can kind of just sort of hold on.
Jules, you know, they're all like, oh yeah, the lady is getting up and walking away. Is she okay? And he comes out, oh my god! And like, yeah, there's a scramble for, you know, stuff, and you know, Jules runs over and like places it, and then immediately drops his hand back. He's like, I'm sorry, and like hands it to like Isabel. Here, you just, I'll. She's panicking, just because all of a sudden, Gisela, wow, is suddenly sporting a new chest wound.
Yeah, and I'm honestly not bothered, like not too concerned with it. Like that hurt.
Yeah,
but,
hurt real bad, but way better than what was there before.
Yeah, this feels better. And so at that, I'm gonna walk up to Clue. I'm like, okay, well. Yes, I can tell you that.
Girl,
thank you.
And her priorities. We gotta talk. While you go ahead and write that up, Theo, you have been chasing this girl at this point, and she's been staying within the general vicinity, and especially because you can see souls. And darkness isn't bothering you all too much. We're kind of, you know, hand waving that a little bit, like just ping pong match, right? At this point, like chasing her is impossible. You're just kind of keeping track and trying to move in her general direction. And occasionally, suddenly she's behind you and you got to jog back the other way. And then suddenly she is collapsing forward, screaming on her hands and knees.
And what's happening to her soul?
Well, I mean, currently doing somersaults and cartwheels.
Okay, but nothing's changed.
Not that you can see.
All right. So this is kind of like the documentary folks that just sort of witness things that are happening and they just let it record it.
Do we hear this?
Probably in the distance. Yeah, I mean,
you're screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Theo's pretty impassive. This is her transition to go through, however it ends up going. So, can I throw more dice at my eventuals, trying to capture that moment?
Like I said, at this point, you do not need to.
You don't need to.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
I'm pretty heavy.
You've already studied it.
You're pretty well dedicated to like the very obsession kind of focus. I'm like, nah, this is locked in, and we're gonna catch this.
I'm not gonna help her. I'm just gonna watch.
All right.
This is her transition to go through, just like Theo went through hers, right?
Yep.
It was
if
nice.
it goes badly,
well, she'll be there to help. Okay. We had 2 overreach previously from a previous paradox, so we're up to 3 now. Plus this one, so that puts us at 4. Are you spending any mana?
yeah, especially after what just happened. I have 4 mana left. I'm going to spend them all.
Okay. So this makes this a chance die.
Jesus
Nothing.
Christ. Okay, all right.
Right,
Chance
this is
die
chance
almost equal
die.
to 10.
Right.
Okay, good.
You just had that panic moment of not again.
Not again. Okay, so my spell. The only reaches I really need are to do it instantly and for the specific question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I only have 1 question.
Mm-hmm. And you're using this on cloak, so I'm cool with that. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to take his hand and I want him to pick a card.
I like that. Cool. Yeah.
And my other natural, I was using the concentration because right now this is...
Sure.
I'm going to zero in on this.
So 6 dice. 2
2
successes. What is the question,
the question you asked was what will happen
Question
if you
is-
help Sanite?
Yes. And he means help in like any way.
Mhm.
So if Drew, you want me to be more specific, I'm happy to.
Nope.
Okay.
She will live.
It's the implication that she wouldn't otherwise.
Correct.
Yep. Oh, she's gonna live. Cloak cares more about her than he does Ritual at this point in his life. So, whereas where he was before, he might have just said, that's how it goes. He chose to go in there. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But I think we all know what Cloak's going to do at this point.
Going to get her.
Yeah, he's either gonna take her out or he's gonna, make it so that she's able to survive.
What's that look like?
Oh, right now?
Probably.
Yeah. He's not going to scrutinize that object anymore because Sanite's fate is more important to him, and he wants to do something about it. So she pulls the card, or he pulls the card, and then he looks at Gisela and says, "If I don't do something now, someone really important to me is going to die. I might need all of your help. If I don't come back within the next half an hour, please come find me in the mine."
I think this is about the time where you guys hear Rilla scream.
Oh, shit.
Mortimer and Jules look up and kind of like hearing this, because they're over their notes and stuff like that, and all of a sudden they're hearing about, wait, somebody's gonna die, somebody's hurt, and then Rilla's screaming, and they're like, we put our heads down for 2 seconds to do some math. What the fuck just happened? And so you have a moment of like, you could possibly, like, especially actually, Legba and Petrichor could probably get real bossy real easy right here.
Oh, yeah.
Gisela, perhaps you should help the gentleman save their friend.
Yes. And then if you need help,
I'm with him.
come. Yeah.
Cloak
I was going to
says
say,
the balance
come
is-
see if you need help later. Meantime, I'm going to see about Rilla.
Cool. Cloak. Sorry, I misspoke. Cloak looks at, or actually, Legba looks at Petrichor and says, "Thank you. Let's go."
And yeah, I'm just going to grab Mortimer and Jules, like, up off the ground. Come on.
Yep.
1 second.
Ooh.
You giving us help?
Split the party. Dude, it's mage.
It's like built in.
Mm-hmm. What, have 4 cats all chase the same laser dot? No.
Absolutely
To be fair,
not.
at this point, I'm kind of screwed when it comes to spells.
Yeah, you knocked that paradox up pretty well.
I
Also,
have no mana, no willpower. My paradox is super high. I've got a gaping chest wound.
I also hadn't noticed this all through the Rookery Chronicle. If you have a paradox condition at all, every spell is tainted and gains a paradox die, even if you don't reach, which we messed up quite a few times. Because we specifically were like, oh, we kept it under, and so it didn't reach at all. So, it doesn't matter.
No, but it's every spell.
It's every spell, yep. And while you're putting this together, what are you casting?
Body control.
Ooh, a classic. Songbird Returns. Or the prequel?
Trying not to.
Right. But it is a very good spell.
Yeah.
It's a really good spell.
It's kind of the smack dab in the middle of... It's like using mind, never ever using psychic domination. Like, obviously you want to be picky about when you use it, but...
Use it to get people to do things that are good for them.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that was Drifter's thing.
Yep.
Quit smoking. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, why not? Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
3 dice of paradox.
Oh, yeah. Just 1 success. Successes.
Great.
Take
Damn.
willpower.
I'd love to. I don't have any of
I
those.
know. That's kind of what I was like, all right, hang on.
Yeah, thank you, Griffin. I missed the part earlier where Drew was like, does anyone need an update?
Oh.
And then had forgotten that I had bought Life 2. So I have been using it all session. Unfortunately, had to delay buying Forces 2 because someone gave me a Life Watcher instead of a Spirit Watcher. Ugh.
God.
I'm going
Disgusting.
to immediately spend that willpower.
I figured you might.
Because I'd like to roll more than 3 dice.
I had done that math and I was like, Haha! Hey,
Awesome. Way to go.
Have you decided
get
your
that
praxis
willpower
yet?
bag.
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
And I'm not taking body control as praxis.
Just
That way,
dangle the songbird
there's a
in front of
bird. There's a bird lying down that path.
Cool. Which, because it is exceptional, do you want to actually take the bonus in primary factor? Because, oh, no, crap, that's duration.
It's duration.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess I will,
As
Oh,
well.
yeah, for duration, yeah.
because then it's longer than an
Mhm.
hour. Just in case it takes us a while to do whatever we're about
Sure.
to do. And I get a willpower, right?
Correct.
Excellent. Okay, so it's potency 2. So we...
Quarter your breathing needs.
Yep.
Potency 2? Isn't it potency
Same
3?
for heartbeat, same
Oh.
for food.
Never mind.
Plus 2 to initiative. And we will heal bashing damage 4 times as fast.
Yeah.
Every 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and didn't take the reach for lethal, or not that
Nope.
it would matter. Well, at least that
But
would.
yeah, so effectively we get bonus initiative.
Slower on fatigue and
Yeah, it's on the
149
3 of us.
and the PDF.
It's on the 3 of us before we split up.
Sweet.
That was the next
Like,
question.
Thank
There
you.
may be some running. So
Also very true.
everyone take a deep breath.
Where do you set initiative? There's a way to change it, right?
Oh, you
If it
just
comes
add
up,
it
just
because
post
it's a roll.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a D10
Yeah.
plus that.
Okay.
So
And then Isabel takes off for the moment.
Right. The two of you.
And a sort of you ready?
Yes.
Life Gallon, Mind Man, take off down the. So you guys head down that way. Gisela, Mortimer, and Jules head towards Rilla. Theo is just kind of in a wide-eyed, like, very. I'm envisioning. Feel free to correct me. The very like, not quite like evil sorceress, but like a little bit of the mad, like wild mage is just watching what is happening. Oh, this is super. Yeah. Okay. Yep. As you watch, yeah, she's screaming, and then is kind of clutching at her stomach.
Do I get a sense of what's making her scream with my scrutiny going
Yeah.
on?
Not
Damn it.
with
I chose wrong.
not with your mage sights, no. But yeah, she's screaming and kind of rolls onto her side. Whatever is affecting her seems more physical than whatever she is seeing on the supernal.
Stomachache.
Yeah, you
Stomach
think you
ache.
could have helped her? You think you could go over and help her, Chris?
Chris is
What?
going off that
Is it-
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
I've
know.
already left to go the other way.
I know, but is that what you're thinking you could have done?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with you retconning that if you want.
Nope.
No.
But Pope knows exactly what he's going to do.
Right.
No, because Petrichor already made her choice.
Cool. Sounds good. Make sure.
Yeah,
Because she'd totally forgotten about the whole stomachache thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in a second, when it hits her,
Metabolism requires you to.
yeah,
Oh, excuse
exactly.
me, not that one.
Yep.
Heartbeat. But yes,
Yeah.
metabolism is
I mean,
the.
imagine it's kind of between
Right.
the two. Yeah.
You could also perform an improvised
Yeah.
spell. That's what I figured you'd want to do. Cast an improvised spell to control her digestion.
Sure, but I don't know that it's happening to her. I don't
Oh,
know
no,
that's
I'm not
why she's
suggesting that's what
screaming.
you do
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was responding
Yeah,
to
totally. Out of
the
character,
idea
I had
of-
already had
That's
that
what you could
plan.
have done.
Yeah.
But in character, she's totally forgotten about it.
So
Yeah.
Gisela.
Follow
I'm
along.
going to attempt. I can't fix her body.
Mm-mm.
I was going to do basically rooting the outmost eddies to try to help her get over it sooner.
Okay.
Just like luck out of this being quick. Like maybe you can vomit and feel better.
Cool. Craig, you were signaling there.
Yeah, is that from sensory range, like quite a distance away, or because like Theo's first priority is going to be to not interrupt whatever's happening.
I'm going to run past you. Like,
I'm going to be no and try and stop if that's what's going on.
I mean, people can touch you while you're in your craziness. Like,
Yeah, I don't know that Theo knows that.
Right.
I know that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
Because
Yeah,
my-
because you had your family. Yeah.
My folks were taking care of me because they thought I had lost my mind.
Yeah. So there may be a very quick conversation you guys need to have as like Theo is grabbing hold. Yep.
Yeah, the thing is, even with the reach, I can only make the twist of fate happen in the next hour. But that's better than nothing,
Mm-hmm.
which is what else I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna come touch her, and one for instant and one for that bonus. I need to have a duration so that it will last for an hour.
Yeah, this is what Theo's worried about, because touching is one thing, but using supernal magic around an awakening is something else.
I'll roll the dice. So, in character, because I do want to address this, like, because you guys are probably going to figure this out. So yeah, Theo is basically trying to grab and slow Gisela. I don't want to get us into initiative here, but
PvP,
yeah,
right?
we can if we need to, but I imagine...
I mean, I have the better initiative.
Yep. Actually, yeah, let's just solve it that way real quick. Let's just get a D10, especially because Theo is kind of in her own head here a little bit.
And mine is meant to be plus
2.
Yeah, plus 2.
Which is just enough.
Of course, Greg rolls a 9.
Right. A 10 and a 9. Jesus. Yeah, so just a hair. Like, I think Theo sees...
Well,
and
very quickly.
Would have been distracted because, right? But
is that hand grab.
Yeah, you should be at a -2 to even notice.
Yeah, and that's kind of where, that's where I was like...
Well, like, I mean, if you break down, like, the role there of, like, Theo reacts very quickly, Gisela is moving faster because of the spell.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that. And so, yeah, Ash, you can definitely go ahead and roll. Sorry, while she's doing that...
Oh, no, I have the free reach to cover instant duration and then +1 to make it go within the hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have Fate 3. Are you two, Cloak and Legba and Petrichor, are you guys basically just running down the path and around, or are you guys going over the ridge? In this particular case, this is merely a narrative cosmetic question.
Meaning it's not consequential, is what you're saying.
Correct.
I think Petrichor is in closer to an action hero sort of mood. And if there's a bit of a scramble down a ridge down into the mine,
because it is not like a sheer cliff or anything. This is a kind of lean back,
sort of a loose gravel kind of thing. Yeah. Slide.
Yep.
I got 5 successes.
Hell yes. Considering the scenario, you can get your willpower, obviously. I'm going to take that exceptional success, and considering the situation where she is half in the supernal, yes, it just happens. Which also means on Theo's side, you get to watch Gisela's nimbus, kind of enveloping over and touching on Rilla. And Rilla, who's holding her stomach and just like, this is really bad, but is not even saying that, and just that really like strangle, and then okay, that's not pretty, and yeah, she just kind of rolls over like flat on her stomach and just vomits, and it's gross. There's a little blood in there. It's just like this is a bad day, kind of thing, and like is heaving and kind of rolls over to her side, and you watch her eyes just kind of blank out as she falls unconscious. Mortimer and Jules are moments behind, and Mortimer is older and, like has a reason to be running a little bit slower. Jules is panting and going, how is she so fast?
Is the thing still happening?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because, in the case of, like, Gisela, she fell asleep and slept and woke up, and, now, obviously, your awakening was a little bit different.
I was dead for quite a while, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Or
I am just going to turn to you and be like,
not going to be brought to ruin.
You can interact with them when they're like this. They just can't see you as you.
like tries to process, but it's too much effort and goes back to looking at.
Yeah, and then I'm going to start instructing Mortimer and Jules on that they need to take care of her.
Yep.
And start giving them rundowns of like what we have seen her doing.
Mm-hmm.
Get Theo to give more details, and yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and we'll put a little bullet point as there's the kind of catch you guys up on. You're not going to understand what's happening, but meanwhile we cut to action hero Petrichor, and I imagine Legba is probably right behind in that scramble. Cool. Getting some head nods.
I imagine it's pretty interesting because he's already so in tune with his body that it's functioning even better.
Oh yeah, with all the strength
like,
performance.
Yo, hold up.
Yeah, this is good. This is real good.
Yeah,
Doesn't need more of that.
The body moving in the way that he expects it should have always. Yeah, but yeah.
Give me that PCP.
Oh no.
As you guys reach down to, the mine, the mine is active. There are some of the lamps, well, not some of the lamps are lit. Oh my gosh, not Miranda.
Martina.
Marina,
yes.
I inserted a T.
Yep. Marina kind of looks up from down the way as she sees the two of you kind of coming in. And kind of in French, it's like what is wrong? What are you doing here?
So, are you actually Legba right now?
Yes.
Okay. Does she have trouble recognizing who we are? Because that's how shadow names work. It literally doesn't have to be like changes of clothes and stuff. It's like you fully are.
Well, and this is
like you penalize the sort of recognition.
Right, and that's a very good question. One that I will think about and talk with you guys over the following week as we try to figure out. Yeah, that's true. How Superman Clark Kent are we getting with shadow names? But yeah, because this might actually be the first showing of the Cabal as the shadowy, weird people that seem so familiar but aren't.
And I guess the shadow name is kind of like projecting a different supernal truth into the world, right?
Mm-hmm. It's your nimbus.
Yeah, it's like a mask.
It's embodying that. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, just that attitude. It's like I totally know this guy, but maybe not. Yeah. So we'll definitely talk about that. That's a very good question.
It's probably not that bad at the like single dot that I've got mine at. But
Legba is
especially at 3 like,
yeah.
Legba's fully.
Did you really? Oh
yeah.
wow. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
he has shadow self as well.
Shadow self.
Who the hell are you?
He's gonna start going to people's dreams and shit and scaring the shit out of them.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Legba mode. The cloak is way more flappy in the wind. That isn't there. That's true. All right. So thank you, folks, for joining us. I'm so glad to be back. And I mentioned in chat, I was like, no, I did not spend 2 weeks prepping for this. I've been sitting on a lot of this stuff, but I've been,
Good session.
I've been very excited to get back to this because I was like, oh yes, no, we're going to stop at dinner because we're going to need all the session next week. This, by the way, I mentioned it once, and I'm going to mention it again. If any of you are trying to run mage and trying to figure out how do I keep them under control, make them juggle, do a bunch of different stuff all at once. And also, it makes this far more interesting. And
you load up that shotgun with rock salt plot and boom.
Well, or specifically, throw out this. Oh yeah, she's off having her awakening. And all of a sudden, Theo's like,
I'm in this guy.
And Theo just was like, yep, I'm just going to chill with this. And I'm like, I actually thought they were just going to let her wander, just kind of keep an eye on her. But no. Oh, okay, I've got to figure out some shit.
Transition.
Theo probably could have learned some things from the thing in this guy.
For sure.
The question is, will she be able to get back over to the telescope before they lose it? So yes, thank you, as always, for joining us. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. I know that our subscriber count isn't it's like 50% of our viewers. So please, if you're enjoying the stuff, please subscribe. It helps us out, and you get the notifications. You can click the bell, all that stuff. Twitch guys, hi, appreciate you. And podcast folks, I love you. I just don't have any good way of sharing that love and affection other than saying I love you. As always, join us on Discord, yeetinto.space, and come hang out with us, and we'd love to chat with you. If you want to support us monetarily, that is staylucky.club or patreon.com/occultistsanonymous. Again, for patrons, I'm definitely thinking about doing a rehash of what we've got. So if you've got ideas and thoughts, please reach out. I'd like to work with you. And I have confirmed with Amanda, she's working on putting the Into the West shirt up on the store eventually.
Cool.
So that will be super helpful.
Oh, thanks for the prime.
Oh, yeah, see, just like that. Thank you, Cat Feathers. So yes. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See you soon.